But it's time to talk. I don't know if you guys remember this game, but there's another game we got to talk about. It's called Fallout.
Fallout, what's that?
Yeah, it came out last year, I think, and it was pretty okay. It sold, I don't know, like 6 or 7 million copies, something like maybe 15.
Only 6 or 7?
Something
Only?
like that, maybe 15 million. I don't know, somewhere somewhere around there.
Yeah. Oh, we were talking about popular games here. What's going on?
So they have tweeted out that there is some DLC coming. So the first round of this topic is speculation for DLC. Ronan, what are we getting?
Actually, I did not see that. So you have to tell us about that one yourself on that.
Well, that's really just it. They sent out a tweet and said there's some DLC announcements coming soon, and that's
I missed that tweet.
That's pretty much all they said. There's a patch coming out, which we're going to talk about in a minute.
Okay.
But what is your speculation for DLC? They haven't given me any solid answers, so this is pure speculation. What would you like, or what would you want in Fallout DLC?
Well, first of all, fix all the issues that I, had problems with that game. Let's do that first. Let's do that. Well, shit.
Oh my god! Ow! Oh. Okay.
I missed. I was away for like 2 seconds, and I see Daly dying.
He said something funny.
Can't have you die on the show. Can't have you die on the show.
Funny as I was drinking coffee, it went down like the wrong way, and now like I have coffee in my heart right now.
Damn. That sucks.
No, that was a serious answer though. Like, first of all, please fix some of those issues that I have with some of the mechanics in that game. Like, I enjoyed it, but I got my problems with it. But I don't know. It kind of depends on where they kind of take the story, because keep in mind, Fallout 4 has a really wide open ending set that you can go for with that game, with so many choices and actions that you could make. So it depends on like the way, like if they have this as a separate thing that you just do on the side, which a lot of these games tend to do. Mm-hmm. That may not be involved with the main story. I'd be totally okay with it.
Like other past Fallout DLCs.
Right. That'll be totally fine in my book. So hopefully it's more of that. And to add more content into the game and more things that you can do on the side, I'm totally okay with that. So maybe that's what this is going to be.
Is that what you want? Is non-story related DLC, like just something on the side that's, more stuff for you to do?
Yeah, I would totally be okay with that. I mean, I wouldn't mind having stuff that does go back into the main story in some aspect. Maybe like, have some characters mention that or actually have an impact on the overall story as a whole. But if it doesn't do that, I'm totally okay with that too. So long as it has a set amount of length to it that justifies whatever they're going to be charging for this and that season pass on top of that.
It's like I think it's like $29.99. It's not that bad.
Yeah, so I'm totally okay with that. But those are my thoughts on it, at least so far, since they haven't really given us any information about that too much.
What about you, Yong? What would you like to see as Fallout 4 DLC?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think they've already said this, but they are gonna overhaul certain aspects of the game, like they're gonna add enhancements to. Does the game have a survival?
That's the next topic.
Right,
that's what. That's coming in the next patch.
Right.
But right now we're talking your main chunks of DLC, like your old whatever Blues and the whatever from New Vegas, those kind of.
Yeah, that's gonna be part of it. That's gonna be part of their, I think, next DLC. They're gonna add like hunger and sleep and stuff like that.
Okay.
The real hardcore mode, basically.
Yeah, like a hardcore mode. If you look back to what Bethesda Game Studios traditionally does, is they release like a smaller DLC for their first DLC, and then they release maybe a couple, I don't know, horse armors and little things, and then they go big. They go really big, like towards the end of the game's lifespan, to give it one last sort of jolt, so to speak.
Yeah.
And they made, like Skyrim had the Dragonborn DLC. That was like the big one with a whole new map and whatever. Dawnguard was, it had its own little story, but it was a smaller sized package. Mm-hmm. And same with like Oblivion eventually came with what was that last DLC?
The Mad God one?
Yeah, with the Madman God.
9 something.
No, there was Knights of the Nine. That was like a smaller DLC.
Okay.
That came first, and then it was the Elder Scrolls for Oblivion, not Oblivion. God, what's the name? I forget.
I can't.
You guys know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
The crazy, colorful new map.
Yeah, with the Mad God guy.
Yeah, all the crazy stuff. So that's what Bethesda has been doing traditionally. I forget what they did with Fallout 3, but they had like Broken Steel and little DLCs, and I think they released like a big one towards the end, maybe. I don't know. I don't remember that one quite as much.
For which one?
Fallout 3. What was their DLC schedule like? I know they released a couple like little ones.
Yeah, there was
Or
a little, there was a few
medium-sized
small ones.
ones.
Yeah,
Shivering
yeah.
Isles.
That's
Shivering
the
Isles,
one.
that's the one
That's
for
the one.
Oblivion.
Shivering
And
Isles.
That
Like
was
I thought it
so
was
good.
Isles something.
yeah.
That
So
was so
Yeah.
good.
yeah, I loved Shivering Isles. So that's what they do. So I get the feeling that this first DLC, it's going to be something along the lines of Dawn Guard. It's going to be sort of medium-sized, like a decent chunk of story, but maybe won't add like a whole new map or anything
Gotcha.
crazy like that. And then they'll release maybe a few little mini missions, DLCs, and then they're going to go big, like towards the end of the lifespan of Fallout 4. They're going to make like maybe a whole other map
Yeah,
and
I
that you
think
can
so.
go to, and then it's a whole new story that you can explore. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking in terms of what they're gonna do, and
Okay.
they're definitely gonna want to make all of the combined DLC more than $30 because that's what the season's pass is worth.
Right.
You know, what's the point of buying a season's pass if you could have bought them separately and it would have amounted to the same thing anyway? So
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right. I think they're going to do something like that. I mean, you take examples from the most recent Fallout, which is the New Vegas, which I know is made by it's made by a different person,
Obsidian.
right? Yeah.
Obsidian. Yeah.
But I like their DLC schedule. It was all kind of like additional, like you go to the edge of the map and then you're on the smaller kind of map. But it's some of the stories were pretty deep, and I like that. And so I hope maybe that's what we get with this Fallout is maybe maybe a one or two DLCs that are kind of like Ronan said, just kind of attached, maybe slightly interwoven into the main story. But like Yong said, at least one where we get to maybe leave the Commonwealth and maybe see something
Yeah.
else. Right around there. Maybe we take a trip to Canada, see
That
what's
would be
going on,
interesting.
see what's going on up there in the winter wonderland. So. Yeah, that's the DLC stuff. But then, like Yong said earlier, there are a free, I think this patch type thing that is going to be free, but it's going to include the survivor mode, which brings back the original hardcore mode, which is, food, water, sleep, not repairing yourself fully in the field kind of thing. You got to go see a doctor. The only problem that I have with this is they took out the leveling system and made it just this perk tree. With the leveling system, it made the survival aspect either easier or harder depending on where you spent points. And if like you had a real strong medicine skill, you could heal yourself pretty good out in the field and stuff like that. Or if your gun skill was really high, you could do, take out these limbs of the, bandits or raiders or whatever. Here in Fallout 4, we got this, the perk tree is nice, like I said, but it's missing some depth that you have with the individual skills. And so, like we ran into that problem earlier in our Fallout 4 discussion where, you might not have leveled up your lockpicking
Right.
perk tree thing all the way, and so you're stuck until you level up, as opposed to putting points into lockpick and then spending a perk on something that matters towards the gameplay.
Yeah.
That's the only kind of issue that I have with maybe survivor mode now. But what do you guys think? We started with Ronan last time. Young, we'll start with you.
Yeah, no, I definitely know where you're coming from. I love that the game has so many perks, but it's just the way you get them and the way you reach certain ones that maybe are more vital than others.
Right.
That's a bit where the issue lies, I think. Whereas in Fallout 3, it felt like a more natural and fluid progression. In Fallout 4, it feels a bit more sporadic, like you said, you can't distribute points, and that doesn't really, play into Fallout 4. So it's just more about I don't know. It's like you're playing like a puzzle game within the leveling system.
Exactly.
You have to figure out like, okay, if I
What's the
put
best
points
way?
here, but then I am gonna miss out on this one perk. Like there's no way for me to get that perk.
Yeah.
Whereas
Right.
in Fallout 3, once you get to a certain level, you can kind of pick and choose. It's not about unlocking this first and then this and then that and then this,
Yeah.
or you won't get the perk.
I think there was a perk in Fallout 3 and New Vegas where you could take a perk and it would give you more points every time you level up. That kind of stuff is important. Let's say, for instance, Young, you're a level, I don't know, let's say you're level 20, right, in Fallout 4, and you're doing a quest and you have no points in lockpick, right? You have no points in, or hacking. That's a major one because there's tons of terminals everywhere.
Oh, yeah,
You have no
definitely.
points in hacking. You're on this mission and you find this hacking computer that you need to hack, but you need damn expert level hacking. You have to put 3 levels up into hacking in order to get that, and you're not going to get 3 levels fast at level 20. Like it's just not how it works.
That's right.
So that kind of thing really annoys me. Yes, you can bring a companion, but then you got to go find the right companion to bring, and sometimes you need a hacking companion for this one, you need a lock picking companion for that one. You never need the fucking dog for anything. So I don't know like I don't know how this is going to work with the survivor mode, but hopefully they'll have something. Maybe I think those books that you can find really help. Maybe they'll put some more of those books in where you can level your stuff up for a certain amount of time.
Oh, yeah.
Those are okay, but they're so few and far between. Like they're not very helpful. If you could maybe buy some of those and like stockpile them, that way if you don't have a certain skill, because if you go into, let's say you go into this new DLC and you need one of those perks that you don't have, that's gonna suck. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. The leveling system is. Some people love it. Some people hate it. Some people are in between.
I'm in between. I like having all the stuff there. It looks cool.
Yeah, no, it looks really nice.
And
Yeah.
I love that, there are so many perks in the game that, like, it feels like when you get a perk, it feels satisfying.
Right.
Because it's a significant. It feels like a significant upgrade.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas if you add points, you're just like, okay, I think I can kind of feel the difference, but I'm not quite sure. Is it a placebo effect? But when you know exactly what you're getting when you click on that perk and say, yes, I want that perk. You feel the difference, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's great. But like you said, in terms of how you get those perks, it's a little weird. It can get a little weird sometimes when you don't have enough intelligence to get to fucking
just not smart enough.
Computer hacking. Yeah. In Fallout 3, you could there was more flexibility in that aspect, in which if you find yourself needing a certain skill more, I think it's a little easier to get and invest so that you get that skill or perk. Whereas in Fallout 4, you have to like really work for it, or hell, just really invest it.
Stuck.
Yeah, or hell, you might be stuck. I don't know. But
yeah, there was I bring that example up about the perk system a lot because there was a time that I was playing the game where in order to complete this quest I needed to get through this locked door, and it was it was the one below the top one, so I think it's expert, and I was like the beginner, like journeyman or whatever they call it, and I just couldn't complete the quest until I leveled up, and then by the time I was that level I was doing other stuff and kind of forgot about that quest. So
that happens a lot.
That issue happens. So what about you, Ronan? How do you feel about this new Survivor patch that they're coming in? And I just thought of something real quick.
Yeah.
Where's the Wandering Wastes perk or the Strange Wasteland perk? What happened to that?
Wait, Strange Wasteland perk? What
Yeah, the straight in Fallout New Vegas, and I think in Fallout 3 you could get that perk that makes like weird stuff happen throughout the level. Like
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's called like the Wild Weird Wasteland or something like that.
Something like that. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's kind of weird. That was kind of weird to not have that in there.
We need that.
But yeah, for me, I think it's a great idea that they're doing this. I know when the game first came out, there was a lot of complaints about it. Oh, it's too easy. We need a harder difficulty level. We need more challenging stuff like that. And everybody was playing it on the hardest difficulty.
Yeah.
So I think this will definitely answer that issue that a lot of people had that maybe wanted to get more challenge out of it. Asking this, adding the sleep mechanics and the hunger mechanics and stuff like that is a pretty good idea. I also think that this will actually increase perhaps the usefulness of companions, for example.
Yeah.
Outside of the fact that, for me, when I was playing the game, my companion was basically, don't make fun of dog meat, damn it. It's got feelings too. No, but in all seriousness, most of my companions were just kind of like my separate backpack outside of my own backpack where I would just put shit on them to hold for me as I got back to base. So they didn't really have too much of a use outside of that. So maybe that'll add a bit more to it outside of that. So I'm hoping that this definitely adds a bit more depth to stuff like that. And I do agree with you guys about the perks and stuff and the way they handle that in this game. I do think that it was perhaps it had more use in Fallout 3, and it was definitely easier to go through in that game as opposed to this one where it's like, you have your perks there, you can see them all, you know what they do, but trying to go from one to the other is kind of a pain in the ass, and sometimes they will lock them off through certain conditions. And for me, it kind of pissed me off when I couldn't get the Mysterious Stranger pack or a perk where, the guy comes out and shoots the guy in the back during VATS, which is one of my favorites, by the way. But yes, I think that, hopefully hopefully they might rectify some of those issues. I'm pretty sure they won't go too deep into it, considering this is what the game is going to be.
Yeah.
But hopefully they will have a bit more impact on the way survivor mode handles this time around, considering that they will have more importance, and they should, in a difficulty like this on top of that. So we'll see where that goes. I'm just hoping for the best with this, and that, maybe they'll add a bit more to it, a bit more depth that is kind of lacking in that sense.
Yeah. They definitely need to add something where you can find out where the fuck your companions are. I'm sorry to put it like that, but I lose people all the time. Like, I don't remember where I told that guy to go. Like, I got to check all the settlements, or did I tell him to hold down in the subway randomly? Like, that is really, really annoying.
Companion AI just isn't very good in Fallout.
No,
it's
not.
I hated anytime I was forced to use a companion or anything like that.
There's a screenshot on the Codec's Twitter of the news reporter that I forget what her name is, but I've got
Piper.
Yeah, Piper. She's following me down in the subway tunnels, and something happened, and she just went into that default like cross T pose that they do, and was just like floating around with her head up. Like just floating over stuff, and when she would shoot, her gun was like in her hand in the air, and she was still hitting enemy. I don't know. They gotta fix some of that stuff.
Yeah, if you play a stealthy character, holy shit, do not have companion anywhere near you.
Yeah,
just
no, I
run up
agree.
to the enemy and then you're fucked. Your whole setup is fucked. Like if you're a Snake and you got a companion with you, like the support buddies in Metal Gear, at least it was they were smart at least.
Yeah.
These guys, I mean, they'll just run up to the enemy and they'll fuck up your whole strategy. Like you're aiming up, lining up your perfect shot, and then the companion will just run up and be like, "Oh, you want me to attack him?" And I'm like, "No, stop! I want to shoot him."
Except for
Stab him in the back.
D-Dog. D-Dog always got me like caught or like got in
Really?
Like I would sneak up to somebody and he'd be right there, and then the guard will get alerted and he'll be like, "Shoo, shoo!" And then when he shoos him, he turns around and sees me. And I'm like, "Fuck! God, way to go, D-Dog, you bastard!" So anytime I took D-Dog, I took one with the stealth knife or whatever, so he could just kill everybody. So, anyways, that's Fallout 4. Well, I guess we'll see what happens. I have given some praise to Bethesda for the way they handled DLC in the past. Hopefully, they'll deliver here again.
Yeah.